Would anyone please explain what does it mean multi-headed application? Like
Absolutely.
multi-head, is it like
Yeah,
Hydra stuff?
not in that sense, no. But actually, that will be relevant. And hey, you caught us if you're watching this video later or the live stream now. This is Plutus PBL live coding from Gimbal Labs and Friends. And we were just talking about a few things that we might focus on today. We are, for these next 7 weeks, just continuing to use processes of selecting different topics, but also some days we have preset agendas. And if anybody has ideas for topics that you'd like to see and you want to put it on the calendar, that's something we could talk about too. So coming up tomorrow, Mix has been doing a lot of work with the Blink Labs team and others to build some proofs of concept for building some backend services using Go and transaction building in Lucid, thinking about how those tools work together and exploring the in development Apollo library, which basically allows for native transaction building in Golang. So really looking forward to that one. For today, we've got a couple different options that we were talking about right before we went live. About a week ago, Cardano Foundation announced the Ledger Sync project that was just built. Um, Good friends and co-founders of Gimbal Labs have been working on that project. We're really proud of them and excited to see that this work can help us out in all the things we're building. Martin suggested maybe we take a look at Game Changer. It takes a different approach to hooking up a wallet to an application, and it might be instructive to take a look at that together. And then some of us on the Andamio team have been looking at processes for managing a multi-headed application. And what we mean by this is what we've done at this point is we've built a template in Next.js. It doesn't have to be Next. Imagine any front-end template that someone can take and use it, but only with the parameters of their on-chain instance of an application. So Andamio as the example here, but this is a pattern that I think is going to become a lot more common over the next few years. We've built an application with smart contracts that can be parameterized. What are the parameters? Well, it's policy IDs and references between validators within the system, right? So we have, let's say I think there's like 6 different policy IDs and 6 different validators that are part of this application. We build an instance of all of those, and that is someone's Andamio instance. We want a front end that allows only that team with their instance to interact with the application. But we also want to be able to reuse that front end code for anybody who wants to use it, right? So how do you create systems such that the front end code is available, but every time a new instance is created on chain, you're going to need to create a new instance of the front end. Yeah, and exactly. This idea is, Nick just said in the chat, right? Like headless has been the way that people start to talk about this. But kind of like the word trustless gets confusing, I think the word headless gets confusing as well, because we're not talking about an application with no UI, right? Which it's just that it doesn't have a single head; it's multi-headed. So we could use the term headless. We could use the word multi-headed. Maybe there's better language for looking at this yesterday or in the future. So that's something that we could look at, but that's ongoing work, and we'll continue to have more to share. Any questions about that or any other topics that people might want to look at today? Cool. Let's do a quick vote and decide how we spend our time. As in the past, what we'll do is if there's interest in several of these, we can open up as many breakout rooms as we need. Whatever here gets the most votes, that's the one that we'll keep here in the main room. Where's the chat? If you want to jump into the Miro board and scroll down to the bottom, you can join me right here. Or if you'd rather just drop a number, 1, 2, or 3 in the Zoom chat to represent your vote, just use the Zoom. But let me throw a quick vote in right here. New session. I am an editor of this. Oh, am I logged out? Hey, just to save time, I don't know why I'm logged out of Miro, and I'm not interested in looking up those credentials right now. Let's do a quick vote in the Zoom chat. Just open up the Zoom chat and type the number 1 or 2 or 3 to represent what you'd like to focus on today. I'm not aware of recording features. Oh, I guess you can make multiple hosts. I don't think we have a Zoom account that allows for multiple recording. Sorry. Gimbal Labs is broke. So yeah, we got to use governance to choose what gets recorded. But if anybody has something high leverage and they want to record it separately, of course, we can jump to there. We have 1 vote for 2, and we have 10 abstentions. Anybody else want to vote? 2 votes for 2. Going once.
I don't know how to do it, but it doesn't show me, but I vote for 2.
1, then 3, then 2. Let's do it. Okay, I see 4 votes for 2. Let's run with it. So here, I'll unshare. And yeah, Martin or Quasar, feel free to take it away. Breakout room. There's at least 1 breakout room open. Let me add 1 more just in case anybody wants it. Breakout rooms, add a room. This one is we'll have a multi-headed DApps room. We'll have room 2 for anybody who needs it. And let's jump in. So game changer, connecting a wallet based on everything we've learned so far. What does that look like? Martin, do you want to lead?
Yeah. Let's see if it works. Oh. I don't know. Seems my sharing is not working that well, I think.
It's enabled here.
Yeah, but it's maybe I reinstalled my my system. I don't have the option I usually have. So I may have to restart. Can I see you 2 minutes? Sorry for that.
Sure.
Yeah, and James, we just lost the breakout rooms. Okay.
Oh, there they are. Sorry, I didn't realize those were closed. It'll be exciting to see a demo of CF Ledger Sync as well. I'm excited to get into that. But while we're waiting for Martin to get back, just a quick look at these docs. There's a press release right here where you can read about it. And in the press release, And on the live coding board, there's a link to this Git repo. I'm pumped to take a look if this makes it more efficient to build applications. It's pretty neat to be to this point where a lot of us have been building, we've been moving towards building things that are actually production ready. And as we do, the tooling for building those apps is improving in real time. So kind of neat that we're going to get to continue refining these things, and we'll see this tomorrow. As mentioned earlier, as Mix takes us through some other options and languages even for building transactions. Any dApp developer is going to have to make a choice at some point. When is it time to update your application to use the latest and greatest? So I think this will be another thing to look at. Martin, do we have you back?
Yes, I'm back.
All right, you got the button?
I think so, yeah. Should I do it here?
Ah, we got it. Nice.
Working? Cool.
Working.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had it all set up, but now and not anymore. Computers. Great.
I think we voted to start with Game Changer.
Yeah. I have to.
By the way, should we go to the breakout room or no? We will stay here.
Oh yeah, we could. Well, the reason we vote is to decide which breakout room stays in the main room, because the main room is the one where the live stream is happening.
Nelson and Juan, they went to the breakout room too, so maybe they're like now waiting.
Oh no, they're working on. We know what they're working on.
Oh,
they
okay.
went to the room with the name other than the one they're working on, but
okay.
I trust them.
But maybe this is nicer even, because I can show you how to start from the beginning.
Love it. So yeah, so what's kind of get us started? What are you showing us today?
Well, basically, if you log in like if you do it with Mesh, all you really are getting is the address, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is what we're going to try to do now with Game Changer. Getting the address with the wallet. So I am going to look for this stuff I had set up. Should be here somewhere. Advanced depth connection. So there's a GitHub site, and there's all these like examples which you can do with Game Changer. And here's the script, only the script, but you can also just get a.
Hey Martin, I can see Discord and your file explorer right now. Is that the right thing?
Oh, did it swap?
We've got your whole all displays, I believe.
That is the wrong page. Okay. This is what I'm trying to show.
Beautiful. That looks like it.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry. So yeah, I made a folder, started VS Code, and then you can just make a file, index HTML. And then you can like what was I? You can copy this can you copy the link directly, or is this easier?
That may be easier, Martin, but would you mind zooming in on your VS Code?
VS Code is a
If
little
possible.
small. Better?
Yeah. Perfect, yep.
So save the page. And then when I go GC, go in, I override this one, save, replace it. So Game Changer can run like it's just JavaScript to run it, and HTML. So you don't need anything else really. A lot of the stuff is helper functions. And this is the script to get all the things you need. So if I press here connect, just like mesh connect, you go to the wallet. And I can continue. There's some other stuff in there as well, which you don't need, but it's doing multiple actions like getting the spending key, the address.
So basically, each of those button taps is taking care of one of these run steps.
Yeah, basically all I want is this information.
Right.
And if I then press here, like it goes back to the address you give. Build the action URL. Oh yeah, this is a function. It adds a return URL, so that is included in the transaction. So you go back with data, and then you can see here is like what you requested is like the address, but also the name, like here with get name, and like the spending public key. So you can request all kinds of information really. And well, if you have this address, well, you can store this and then you're connected really.
And then you're passing those variables back to your application, and now they can be accessed in any logic.
Yeah. So that is a little bit different. Maybe you need some extra boilerplate if you wanted to use it in PBL, would be a little bit different, but it's also very simple.
Mm-hmm. I've always liked the simplicity of it, and I've never had a doubt about that. But I don't like the user experience of being redirected to the Game Changer site in order to log in and then going back to an app. What's the closest Game Changer can get us right now to logging in without leaving an application UI?
Well, the other apps, they make like a small window.
Right.
It's also a page.
Right. So is there a way to do that behavior that feels a bit more like, hey, okay, this thing is popping up to get me in. Can I just take all of this functionality, put it in a pop-up without leaving?
Well, you can if you say this button you can open in a different tab. That's also a possibility.
Okay. Right. We can choose what to target, I guess, when we.
So if I say target blank.
Right. Right.
That's the first step.
So that would get me to the same spot. Okay.
Yeah, I do that usually when I do it usually with a target blank.
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
Right. That way I'm not being routed away from the app.
yeah, I never liked that as well. That's true. But that's the way it's coded here. Here's the HTML. Target blank. It's already in there. Is that the button? No, that's not the button. Where is the button? A.
Right. That looks good.
Huh. Target blank.
Mhm.
Is that? That's a bit odd. It's not here. Don't know really. It should be opening in a, could be, yeah, I think it should be opening in a new page. Do you have any ideas, James? Why that would happen? I don't know. Oh, wait a second. It gets replaced because the link is different. But it may be replacing the whole thing. Because, yeah, Game Changer makes this link
Right.
to connect. But I was thinking it was only changing the href,
Okay.
but it looks like it's changing more. Encoding numbers. So where is it doing that?
I think there is an ID connect BTN, and maybe you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, this is the ID.
It's not one. Oh. Action button. Inner HTML connecting. Codec href. Maybe. If I put
So
that.
what would it look like, yeah, to replace a smart contract transaction? That's the pattern I'd really like to see.
Fact. Well, that didn't do it. I don't know. I would have to dive into that, but I think it can be done. But yeah, I think that's a good tip, James. I think we should make it look as similar to other ways of doing it. That's yeah, it can be done. That it's just a window.
That's Jacob's rule of UI, right? People want to use a system that is familiar from other systems they've used.
Yeah.
And I gave Adriano this advice a long time ago, right? But I'm still hearing it from you guys today. Like Game Changer makes it easy. I don't know if that's the sales pitch yet, because I think this is different, and I think there are some really, really thrilling efficiencies here. But I don't yet agree that it's easier. It's
Oh, yeah.
different. right? And those are two different things. And so if you want to build a different system and there is a clear ideology behind that, sell that.
Yeah.
But if the sales pitch is it's easy, and then this is what we see on the screen, right? Like we have to use inner HTML and we have a link that we can't get away from within our application. That's not checking the easier box for me yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can understand that. This is not yet maybe. This is a little bit a roundabout way of doing it. Yeah. So
it's thrilling. It's exciting to see a DSL emerging, without a doubt.
and what you mentioned about what you want to do for like with the application, or you mentioned you want to see something else.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to see the pad, like to take a round trip through the pattern of seeing like a real smart contract validation transaction. Is there an example of that we can look at so we can really start to compare application logic at that level?
So you want to build a transaction with a smart contract
that redeems from a validator. Yeah. And we're going to do the same thing tomorrow. We're going to take some transactions that have already been building, but look at a different language to write them in. And I think it'd be really cool if we could do a similar thing here.
Yeah. Oh, Adriano requested a link to join as well.
Excellent.
I will invite him because he's the expert. He could help me with this. I think it is possible, but yeah, I do the payment side. So like that stuff is like I have to. Yeah, I'm not prepared to do it quickly, so that's a little bit difficult. I will try to the link to him. Building a transaction is not that hard. I will have to, and like it's a regular transaction, right? The smart contract is already on the network, so you pass just something to the smart contract, or you pass it in the transaction, really. Right, James? I don't know exactly what you want to do.
I would love to learn the pattern of redeeming from a validator. Yeah, I would love to really understand how to redeem from a validator in Game Changer. I haven't had the time to learn that pattern for myself yet, and it's something I've been really looking forward to learning.
So you have to send like a redeemer to a smart contract address. Really, that's the transaction you need to make. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's say maybe I have a reference UTXO, so I want to be able to read that UTXO as my Plutus script, and then I want to redeem from a validator address. So we've got Game Changer docs. This is the Game Changer GitHub.
Connection, macros, conditions. Okay, Adriana is joining in 5 minutes.
Excellent. Yeah. It's so exciting, right? For me, like as I'm learning new tools, and we know that I think everybody here has a backlog of tools they're looking forward to learning and using.
So much.
Yeah, I like being guided through a pattern that I can say, oh, okay, I can see how that works now.
Transaction. Well, that's like if you want to go to a transaction, like you just define the outputs. So like you can send, if it's only a quantity you're checking, that's easy.
Mhm.
You just have the address and you just have to build this. But we want to add a redeemer, right? So that's
Actually, we want to add the inputs and then attaching redeemer to that input. So the transaction validation will be done by these two parameters. Like this is the input, this is the redeemer, and then we should do attaching a script or referencing UTXO which contain a script, and then the transaction will do this validation, which means can this redeemer redeem this value, aka unlocking this input and putting that input to some other output or sending to someone else or not? Like, is this possible to do with Game Changer now? Input would be coming from a smart contract and then attaching redeemer to that. And of course, there should be some execution units calculation because it changed the transaction cost significantly, like a lot. And then crafting an output from that input.
Well, I have here a smart contract, which is a Plutus script. But in Game Changer, you don't need to calculate fees because that's what Game Changer does for you.
Yeah. But one part of that calculation is execution unit. But I can see this as smart contract, a script, parameter. I think we can assume the parameter are like here's the example datum.
I think that's the datum you have to pass into the redeemer, right?
So here is the place for adding redeemer as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Or this is the datum of the input coming from the contract.
I'm not so sure. Like, I don't think we're building scripts here.
No, not building. You know, when the inputs has their own datum, inputs from the smart contract, UTXO coming from a smart contract. So this parameter, this datum is actually the datum of that UTXO, which comes from a smart contract.
Good question.
This input. Okay, Adriano is here under the name of Martin.
Yeah, it's here to save me.
Got him.
Hey guys, hey,
Hey man.
Why my name is Martin today. How are you guys?
Good. How's it going?
Good.
Thanks.
Hey, we're going a little deeper into Game Changer.
And we will try to make Martin as confused as much as possible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very, very difficult question.
Hey, regarding the name, maybe Martin shared me his own link, so this is why I am called Martin.
Nice.
Don't know how that happens. That's yeah, normal, I guess. It's the registration link. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, guys. What can I help? How can I help? Sorry.
So what we were talking was we saw some transaction building done by Martin, and it was good. And we were kind of criticizing that it is great, but it is not that much easy as we thought. But the question came up about a smart contract. So the input coming from a smart contract and adding redeemer to that input and doing some validation, you know, the smart contract validation. And like, how do we do it in Game Changer? Can we add reference input, which by reference input, I mean the UTXO, which contains CBOR code of a smart contract? Oh no, we should just attach the whole CBOR code of a smart contract to this transaction. And then how do we redeem UTXO or input from a smart contract? Then how does Game Changer calculate the fee execution units for unlocking this fund, and all these questions in regards to that. So we were trying to look to find some example, and I think maybe this is the one. I don't know. So yeah.
Okay, great questions. So Martin, I don't know if you're, yeah, perfect. For example, based on the Helios example, or we can go to a simpler one for starting, like
Yeah, I think so. If
step
you
by
have a
step.
simpler one, yeah.
Okay, maybe we can pick one of the 42. This smart contract, this simple smart contract that only allows you to redeem a UTXO if you provide the number 42, for example.
Okay, yeah.
For example, we can use that.
Where can I find that one?
It's on that list. Martin, do you want me to share screen?
Yeah, you could do it. That's fine.
Okay, no, just maybe. Okay, give me.
I have to somehow get out of the Zoom thing. Stop share. Yep.
Okay. So, for example, these ones, we can go to this one. I can share the link here on the chat if you want. Okay. Well, I don't know, Martin, how far did you go?
I just showed them how you could get the address from the wallet.
Okay. So just to clarify, to understand the model, the principle behind how to interact with Game Changer, and especially, for example, with something as complex as smart contracts. So remember that this scripting language this cell is not Turing complete. So the idea is not to for example, delegate to this language conditions, for example, like checking if a value is one value, I mean a variable is one value over another, to take a different decision. So all these steps, all these conditions, or heavy processing of data and such should go the upside, right? The idea is to imagine, it's like a bit hard to understand at the beginning, but imagine like allowing a more extended CAP30 model where you can kind of design the functions you want to call, something like that. So this is still like a DApp connector technology. So it's not a full DSL where you will be practically running, business logic inside it. That's not the idea. It's just for maybe advanced or complex, but it's for calling functions on a user wallet. It's still that idea. So, for example, I will go step by step analyzing this code. Please interrupt me if I am going too far, too fast, or if there is any doubt. And well, thanks guys for being talking about GC today.
Oh man, it's great. Thank you.
Thanks, James. Thank you a lot. So are we kind of okay with the syntax, or should I start with the syntax? Let me know. I don't want to go too fast.
It's legible. Yeah, like this is, so you've built a DSL that we can write our commands here in JSON.
Perfect. Okay, basic rule to agree upon something basic is that we have this, a function here is defined by JSON objects that has to have a type, okay? So in this case, TypeScript is like declaring like a block of code, okay? And then, for example, here we can nest other blocks of code, other or other functions inside this block of code. And here, for example, we have a function that defines or creates a Plutus data, okay? And we call it datum. It's like every time if we deal with sections of the code as JSON objects with properties, it's like calling like datum in this case, we can interpret and we can understand this like datum is the name of the results of the function that will be called here. If I can explain that somehow, then I can show you step by step on runtime how this looks like. You will see like a datum variable with having these results. Why in this case Plutus data? Why this is a function? Because we can express Plutus data like a JSON. This is, underneath Game Changer we have Cardano serialization lib. So this schema number is exactly the schema number that Cardano serialization lib uses. And we can even deal with CBOR in hexadecimal representation, for example. But for keeping it on JSON, we use this this format. So the objective is to pass this 42 value here. And we have a datum or a data of 42, a value 42. Then we prepare the data for the redeemer that is the same. Okay, you can check that it's the same. It's the same thing. We call it redeemer. Again, like a variable called redeemer. Then we define like a new variable called log. Okay, that is of type data. This is pure, it's like a JSON constant. It can be any value that JSON allows to have, but it's like a constant, okay? And the goal is to just define like an array of assets, because this is actually going to be used on outputs, on the output that is going to generate this logged UTXO. So we want to send 5 Lovelaces, so 5 ADAs. And here with policy ID ADA and asset name ADA, we are talking about the coin, right? ADAs or testnet ADAs, maybe if we're on pre-prod. Okay, very quickly, you know, when we create addresses out of smart contracts, or out of key hashes, we have like a stake credential and a spend credential, right? So here we are like injecting a pre-delegated key hash, okay, as a stake credential, where on the address that we are going to generate based on the spending script, smart contract script, the stake credential will be this one. Once again, this is a constant, okay, data. This is just a text, a string, but you know, a key hash in this case. Then here is where we start talking about smart contracts. On this function called, the of type Plutus script, we are building or importing the smart contract. In this case, we have a built CWOR X, a smart contract on CWOR, an hexadecimal representation. We just copy paste the hexadecimal here, and we have to specify the language, because if we change the language, we can end up having different script hashes, and that changes everything. So the idea is to keep this in mind. Okay. The nice thing about these functions sometimes is that, for example, on the Plutus script function, it generates automatically the compiled, the build CWOR of this contract, and also it generates, for example, the script hash as properties. Then I will show you on the wallet how this looks like, but keep that in mind, that the nice thing here is that these functions automatically generates all the artifacts we need to work with. For example, in this case, a Plutus script. So then we can just reference that results. For example, this variable contract inside will have like for example, the key hash or the CWOR. Okay, here is where what I promised happens. We generate the address, and for building the address, we call this function that is build address. And here there are a lot of options for some functions. You can check them all on the documentation. For example, we can create a base address based on a script hash for spending in this case, and a stake credential in this case. So here we could be just like passing the hexadecimal value of in this case the script hash of the Plutus script, and here the key hash. But instead of that, and here is where GC script I mean this new version of GC script turns out to be interesting, because we can call some like inline macros to keep the code as simple as possible, but a bit more dynamic, allowing you to, for example, reuse the results of previous functions, or I mean the previous results that has been already been executed. So in this case, we are using the get function, the get macro function. For doing this, we pass code inside a string and wrapped into this curly braces. And it looks like JavaScript. It looks like JavaScript, but it's not actually. So that's nice. It's just a very limited language on purpose. So and here we pass this get macro function. It's going to reference to bring here, for example, the values, the contents on memory, on the script context of a previous result. In this case, I mean, we always start with cache for this. All the results of all these functions under these names are stored on a cache object. Okay, so this is the path, cache.dependencies.contract. The path of this, I mean, of the results of this function. Because if you check, sorry if I'm moving too much through the code, but cache is like the root object. Then we defined a block of code called dependencies. And inside dependencies, we have date, redeemer, log, and contract. So when we reference cache.dependencies.contracts, we are referencing the results of this function. Okay? And as I told you, inside contract, we have some properties. In this case, we are using the script hash of the smart contract here by referencing this property. Of course, we don't see this here, but if we check them on the wallet, step by step, we can explore the memory, and we can see that this is there. So we are going to, I propose you to run the code until here, so we can see how this looks like if you want, or I can go faster. Just let me know, please, because
I like it. No, this is good. I mean, seeing an example from end to end, right? You're showing us the docs, but then also seeing it in practice. That's really what we've been doing for so many different tools in this course together. But I haven't gotten enough reps in with Game Changer to fully buy in yet. So yeah, get us there.
Okay, thanks. So please keep in mind something that is very important, and especially with smart contracts, because it's confusing, because we are not used to this with CIP30, for example. But here's where Game Changer can be handy for more use cases. Because if you check the code, I will do some, I mean, I will go super quick. here we are going to be making the transaction that logs a UTXO. But then we are making a second transaction on the same script, on the same DApp connector call, okay, for communication with the wallet.
Yeah.
So this is where, boom, this
This
is where
gives
we
us
have
like the
a
whole
problem.
interface. Yeah, like this is what the PAB was trying to do with what they were calling a state machine, or even the contract monad itself. You're providing that here as, okay, here is this is the contract, right? It's not really correct to call a validator a contract. The contract is the list of all of the interactions I can have with a validator. And you're taking that and you're putting it in one place here.
Perfect, James. Perfect. That's right. It's like a client-side PAB, because this runs 100% on user wallets on a browser. So, and also, I like to explain this GC script as, for example, like defining the protocol that you want to use to interact with a DApp, because it's more than just a single function, like sign a transaction or even build a transaction, because it's not enough. So yes, it's like a PAB, you're right. So this entire thing is like if we were calling like an endpoint that runs on-chain, I mean off-chain code to interact, in this case, with an on-chain validator, for example. So this is confusing. From the DApp, from the concept of a DApp, here's where people can maybe generate myths around, misconceptions around game chain, because this does not mean that we are going to be using game changer this way all the time, like creating, for example, a login transaction on the same connection with the wallet, and then an unlocking transaction on the same connection. I mean, this turns out to be handy for educational purposes, because on the same script, we can log UTXOs and then unlock them, okay? Of course, the execution of this DApp connection will take more time. There are two transactions involved, I know, but these examples are specially designed, I mean, more designed or more based for educational purposes, because on the real life, maybe we don't want to do this, of course. We want to create different connections, one for locking assets, one for redeeming, withdrawing assets, okay? Okay, let's go to the wallet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code, okay? I'm going to copy this code. And just by the way, the wallet auto-generates this kind of automatically generated DApps that are like boilerplates that runs the code that you were reading there, the GC script code. So this is very handy for just starting a project, maybe making a proof of concept, okay? Keep that in mind. And for testing, if I click connect, this launches the wallet and runs the code. But let's go step by step. So, DApp Builder. I am on the pre-prod version of the beta, right? The version 2 of the wallet. And I'm going to the DApp Builder. And here, okay, I'm going to dismiss this. And here we are going to paste this code, okay? It's the same code we were looking at. So now I'm going to run, okay, this code, but in this development environment, okay? This is not exactly how an end user is going to use it. This is just for developers or students. So I will run it. And as you can see, for example, the title and the description of the code appears here because it's more than CP30. So we need to, I mean, the good practice is to tell about what the code is about to do, right, to the user. But this is not this is not mandatory, because also this is going to happen, that the code is going to be expressed in permissions, colored permissions. So by reading this, a user can know a bit more about what's going to be happening on their wallets, okay? And I mean, the normal execution is continue, 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 but we are going to go through the student path now. We're going to go on a step-by-step mode here, step-by-step, okay? And, well, this is the diap connector. This is the diap connector that in this case is embedded on this window, this pop-up inside the wallet. The user is going to see this a bit differently, but it's the same interface, okay? So this is a progress bar. You will see how this starts to increase step by step on each step. For example, if I click continue, well, in this case, I need to provide the password of the wallet. From now on, we need to have access to the wallet. And remember, Game Changer now supports almost literally any kind of wallet on the space, from hardware wallets to browser extension wallets, and mnemonics, or seed phrases, and even QR code wallets. Keep that in mind, because this allows you to, with the same code, with this script, you will be able to use it on any other kind of wallet around on the ecosystem.
Yeah, Game Changer is like a D app for a wallet, right? It's just like Sunday Swap for a wallet is. Game Changer is like the same for a wallet.
Yes, Martin. Thank you. Thank you. We are trying to describe this like a meta wallet, but yeah, like a DApp. To talk in plain English, it's like a DApp. Yeah, it's like a DApp and a wallet at the same time. Okay, so next I'm going to go one more step and see how this progress bar advances. Now, let's see how this looks like inside. Okay, let's explore the execution context of this script. By clicking on Advanced here, on Advanced, we access to the live debugging tools of this DApp connection. There are a lot of information, but for example, here we have more description of the current function that is being executed. Even we can click on documentation and we can just see what the documentation of this function. For example, the Plutus data. We can explore here the ways you can use this. We use the JSON way of dealing with Plutus data. Okay, let's continue. Here we have a console, but here we have a status tab. And this is very important for us, because here we have a lot of properties, information of the script, but here we have the state, the live state of the global variables and the live state of the memory of the cache objects that I told you about. The results of each function will appear here. So see that we have two major blocks of code: dependencies and one at the end that is called finally. That it's nice because you can like wrap some results and export those results back to the VM. Okay. Now we are on the Plutus data function. We are on, if I go to cursor, we are executing this tiny block of code that, if I go to the code here on the documentation, remember, was
Yeah.
this piece of code. It's exactly the same piece of code. This one,
Yeah.
this one, under the cursor tab, okay? This one. Now, if I click continue, next step, this was executed.
Right.
So, on the cursor, we have the, remember that we have the same object twice because of the redeemer. That can be improved. But if we go to status, see that this changed. Under the dependencies block of code, we have now like a variable containing the results of this Plutus data. And this function returned the hexadecimal representation in CBOR of this value, the hash of the data, and also a JSON representation compatible with Cardano serialization lib of the same data. This is why it's very handy for developing, because you don't need to go and specifically deal with, with calculating the hash of the data. Everything that it's supposed to be reused, to be used by a developer or a student, is going to be available on each of these functions. It's very handy.
Yeah.
So then imagine we need to reference the hash of the data. We just reference to that property under the date. It's cache dot dependencies dot datum dot, for example, data hash text. Okay. So next step.
Hey Adriano, I'm so sorry to break your flow, but I actually have to drop off because I have another meeting starting in an hour or in a minute. But this is, we've been having some impromptu sessions here lately at Live Coding. And so this was not scheduled. This came up as a potential option and everybody agreed this is how we wanted to spend time today. But the next few weeks are open. So if you guys want to get together and plan a series of sessions, that option continues to be open. And I think in general for everybody here, it's exciting, right? What we're seeing is that now as we start to have a couple of applications that are built one way, we're better equipped to look at different tools and say, okay, what would that same application look like over here in Game Changer? Or like we'll see tomorrow over there in Go Apollo, right? So we're continuing to pick up new patterns, and it's setting kind of a path forward for how we start to help devs make informed decisions about all these tools that exist. So thanks for being able to jump right in, Adriano. At a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry if I arrived a bit late.
All good things. No, this is great, and this is, there's so many tools right now, and nobody can understand all of them. So this is the distributed education effort is on, and we're all building it together.
If I may, a very quick, at least idea to wrap over this. Think how opaque smart contracts can be once they are built, right? On this CBOR hexadecimal representation. How hard is for someone that maybe don't know Haskell or don't know any specific language the specific language that was the former code of that smart contract. Imagine how difficult and opaque that can be. But imagine if we have recipes on how we can solve the off-chain
100%.
on
100%.
JSON.
But we
And
need
this
to,
works for even
but we
hardware
need,
wallets.
I agree with you. And I think a lot of people can imagine that, but now we're at the stage where the rubber has to hit the road and we have to go from imagine it to here it is. Here's a full stack application. Here's how it's built, right? So we're in the process of doing that for so many languages. And I think I would recommend that as an essential next step for Game Changer, right? Put an app in front of people and right, for well-built applications, you're not seeing much exposed of what's happening under the hood. And I think we need the same thing here. So people can say, now I don't have to imagine anymore. I can see that thing working. And when they're ready to show me under the hood, here it is. You guys have, I think, a best-in-class dev tools portal, right? Once you go under the hood, but we need to see that end-to-end example so that people can really grasp onto it.
Sure, James. Sure. Maybe
Okay, we'll keep
we
it
need more
going. I'm
hands.
keeping my next meeting waiting. I'm so sorry. I want to, it's so hard to honor everybody right now because there's never enough time. But thanks, y'all. And yeah, catch you tomorrow or soon. And thanks, everybody.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.